we left off with our first engagement of any significance, where the small forces of Joseph E. Johnston and Robert E. Lee have pushed Major General Patterson's Union Army, the Department of Pennsylvania, out of Harper's Ferry, as now Lee has been assigned to head back towards Alexandria, Virginia, to get in front of any invasion coming from across the Potomac. It is May 15th, 1861. Zollicoffer has made his way to Memphis, and we are assigning him orders to move to Carroll, Arkansas, and get into position that we can reinforce the armies of McCulloch and Price. We are actually going to combine Price with McCulloch. So why don't we open up our army management screen? We're going to transfer Price over to McCulloch. Beauregard is assigned as division commander. One thing to remember when transferring units from one army to another is when you click the unit, you gotta click it and kind of hold it first. So click it, then hold it, then drag it. Click, hold, then drag. And we are going to divide up Price's command between the three divisions under McCulloch now. We're actually going to replace Beauregard. It feels kind of weird that Beauregard should be the general-in-chief of the Confederate armies, but yet hold a divisional field command. So we'll assign Price. Actually, we probably need to reassign Price first. Price will command the division under McCulloch. Let's take a look at... So McCulloch was 3 stars in fame, 2 stars in initiative and leadership. Price has more fame. Philip St. George Koch also has 4 stars in... He's legendary. And Daniel Frost, actually we're going to replace his command with someone else. We are going to assign William Loring to command the division. Probably the largest division we have in the entire Confederate Army at 5,600 men. And McCulloch is now almost up to 10,000 men. And they will stay in Springfield right now, as now supplies are at 79%. His readiness is in the yellow. So his readiness is considered mediocre. Readiness represents the unit's ability to carry out orders. Military operations decrease readiness, while rest and resupply will improve it. The unit cannot use forced march and has a slightly lower reinforcement speed. Full readiness should be reached within 55 days. So the status is they are encamped. They're in good condition, but training is poor. We have built a depot here as well. Supply depot is being constructed, ready in 33 days. So they're going to set themselves up in southwest Missouri as they wait for Zollicoffer to reinforce. And then by that time, hopefully the readiness will improve. We'll have a supply depot in Springfield, and we can springboard and use that as a springboard for operations to finish the occupation of Missouri. Johnston is moving towards Paducah to secure Paducah. And that area of Tennessee does support us pretty well. Or I'm sorry, of Kentucky. Kentucky itself is at 83% support. And our main base of supplies are out of Nashville. So actually Johnston's readiness is down to in the yellow itself. So we gotta be careful. This, I think, too far out of this dark red zone of supply and Johnston will lose their supply situation. They're currently at 100% though. We're going to set our North Carolina squadron to raiding. So Savannah Ferry is not blockaded. We'll take a look at these other ports on the coast here. Port Royal, not blocked. Charleston Harbor is not blocked. So the Union blockade, although it's reached, it looks like it's something's going on here in Wilmington. Wilmington is not blocked. But there's an awful lot of smoke coming from Fort Caswell. We're actually going to take the Savannah squadron also, and they're going to also raid with the North Carolina squadron. Alright, why don't we move, let's turn on our speed again and get things moving along here. And you can see Lee's army is moving towards Alexandria. They hit some storms. And Lee is now at destination. Although we do not see a Union army anymore in and around Washington. Let's take a look at Lee's army. He has been reinforced up to 5,200 men. I'm going to organize this attachment to... We're going to create an actual division. And again, we are not going to... We're going to replace Beauregard with James Walton. Actually, we might give Ewell the division command. We can assign brigade command to the aging Samuel Cooper. Let's give it to McIntosh, and then we will actually give Ewell command of the division. So you have Pillow and Ewell under Lee. And I think I want to add another infantry brigade to Pillow's division if we can. Maybe some Marylanders. We'll give the Marylanders some red trousers. We can recruit 1,500 of them, and they'll be ready in 12 days. Let's see what's going on out west. Looks like Johnston is getting ready to secure Paducah. Johnston at destination. Army of Kentucky has reached their objective and continues according to given stance. So Paducah is now in our hands. And you can see the front lines did move. So Paducah was under the blue. Let's see, is Columbus... No, Columbus is still considered under Union control. So Johnston will be tasked with taking Columbus, Kentucky. And they're headed out already. We're heading towards the end of May. And Zollicoffer is at his destination. Alright, supply situation in Springfield is improving. So let's take a look at the tooltip here for supplies. At 82%, the Western Army shows the average goods delivered. So this is the latest supply ratio under the tooltip. Shows the average goods delivered in relation to consumption within the last week. The supply speed is lower on hostile terrain and transport distances are short. Local infrastructure will provide additional supply if goods are available. Nearby supply depots are increasing supply efficiency. Latest average supply ratio is 82%. So this is a supply ratio, not like an amount of supplies. Speed of supply is 71%. Provisions consumption is minus 33.4. Supply from depot adding a plus 0.1 and local supply plus 27. So consumption is outpacing local supply, it looks like. Foraging is offering another 4.5, but consumption is taking 5.6 of that. According to the supply ratio, it recommends reinforcements of 13,000 soldiers. Weekly reinforcements of 203. So yeah, we still have brigades that are forming under the Western Army. That our current total is 10,450 men with 27 guns, and then an additional almost 2,000 under Zollenkoffer to reinforce. Alright, so you can see the supply situation around Springfield is darkening. We're going to build another supply depot around Carlton and see if that can help speed supplies up through into Missouri. Speaking of supplies, Johnston's kind of in an area of low supply. That's his latest supply ratio, 69%. It looks like the Columbus area is under Confederate control now. And here would be a good place to build a supply depot as well. Possibly a fort. Let's see how our Mississippi squadron is working out of Vicksburg. That's Kell's squadron. So none of the ships are ready. Now we could transfer the CSS General Clinch, which is she can move in sea and rivers. The CSS Alert. So we want to control the Mississippi for sure. So we're going to need to provide her with any ships available. It'll probably take time to transport them there. Alright, heading into June, let's take a look at finances again. Still have a small surplus, that's good, and a AAA debt rating. And let's check our policies, and I think we have one that we are working on. That'd be regulars. In 3.2 days, that policy will be finished. There's 5 blockades now affecting our ports. Imagine that these blockades are the ones closer to the north. Yeah, so Port Elizabeth blocked by 41%. Moorhead Port is not blocked. Well, and now I wonder though, let's take a look at Savannah Squadron. What seagoing vessels do we have? We have the CSS Virginia steam frigate. I guess we can maybe assign some of these schooners. The CSS Petrel. Alright, 6 ships, 7 guns. Oh, we see a Union Army marching south. Are they on transports? Or is that just the garrison? Fort Washington garrison, 84 troops. Army of Northeastern Virginia spotted with 10,000, or estimated to have 10,300 men. Robert E. Lee is up to about 7,000. So not seeing a lot of movement from the Union. Confederacy passes regular act. ACSA regiments are formed. More regulars recruited. 15,000 troops authorized. The militia weakened. Now Johnston's threatening Cairo, and I don't see any... Doesn't seem to be any troops defending in that area. We just finished a policy, and now it's time to enact another policy. I think we're going to research Industrialization 2. It's going to take 30 days, a little bit over a month. Industrial policies allow the mass production of new and more complex weapons and ship types by the nation's heavy industry. Further subsidies will make heavy industry more profitable, increasing the supply of goods, and encouraging further expansion. And maximum industrial and transportation subsidy level increased to $500,000 annually. You see a lot of our production is increased in a lot of our manufactories and ironworks. That's the Connecticut. See, when you have the filters here, let's just make sure we are only on there. Yeah, our factories are producing, although there is a lack of workforce for sure. So June 4th, 1861. Let's see how ready McCulloch is to start moving out. We'll trail Zollicoffer behind. So McCulloch's still at yellow readiness. So we're going to allow him to hit green readiness. Although provisions are starting to run a little bit low. Union calls for volunteers, 12-month contracts. The Congress sanctions further enlistment, state forming new regiments. So the Union counters our own manpower increase. Oh, Beauregard recruiting his own army. Now we can transfer these men, though. Actually, we got the Army of the Northwest, which hasn't received any kind of reinforcement. Why don't we send him one? We'll send him one brigade, so we'll increase his size there. Let's see if we can hold on to the West Virginia portion of Virginia. And we're going to send Longstreet westward. He's going to join McCulloch. And it's going to take. It will take him a few. He might not. It'll take Longstreet about 21 days to arrive. And we're going to reinforce. We'll reinforce Zollicoffer with the 1st Confederate Cavalry. Then the Army of Kentucky will form a new division. The 2nd Confederate Artillery will assign to the Army of Kentucky. There'll be like an artillery reserve. Some activity going on too with around Norfolk. I don't know if the Union is getting ready for amphibious invasion. 9 ships, the home squadron. Or they're sending out their ships for blockade duty. So I wonder if Johnston can take Cairo. See how the Union reacts to that move. Then now we have one Confederate invasion. Although the situation, condition alert. The condition of the horses is poor. Decreasing speed of cavalry and artillery. The condition of the men is poor. Increased sickness and desertion are slowing the unit down. Low on food. If we raid, we burn down enemy infrastructure and forge all supplies troopers can carry when raiding. Troops in this unit will skirmish with all enemies within range. Raiding will hit the population hard and will have effect in their support, lowering it for both the attacker and the defender if unable to counter the raiding parties. Well, we're going to raid Cairo, so the gentleman-like qualities of the Confederate Army will cease to exist in this campaign. The men need to be fed, Albert Sidney Johnston says, and I will feed them at the expense of the Union city of Cairo. Buildings damaged. Oh, here comes the here comes the Department of the West. Time to march. Let's march McCulloch forward. Go to Raleigh. I'm sorry. Go to Rolla. Zollicoffer will march to Springfield. Can we get Johnston back to Columbus before he's attacked? Should have moved Kell's squadron up. We're gonna move them up to Memphis. Should have took this. I should have tried to take the port. 16,000 men coming after Albert Sidney Johnston. With Albert Sidney Johnston with his 9,000 men. Let's see if he can get out of this trap. Oh, nope. We've caught up to Johnston's Army of Kentucky with their 16,000 men. Let's see if we can withdraw. Withdraw, try to slip away. Let's slow it down. Skirmishing suffering 2 casualties. Rearguard action suffering 2 casualties. Skirmishing, so a lot of skirmishing and rearguard action. So Kentucky support for the Confederacy is at a full 100%. Ooh, but front lines have changed. Alright, so Johnston's retreating to Dyersburg. That's fine. We pulled the Department of the West out of St. Louis, and now we can move. Now we're going to move McCulloch's army of 14,000 men straight towards St. Louis, and Zollenkoffer will follow behind as reinforcements, and we might be able to pull Missouri out pluck Missouri out from the Union, although Johnston's men are suffering. His readiness is still mediocre, and he's confident, and he doesn't have too many disabled men. If he can get back to Jackson, Tennessee, he might be able to resupply himself. Army of Kentucky has slipped away and is now pulling back further. So Johnston slips away. Let's take off raiding. Oh, he started raiding New Madrid. We'll take a defensive stance with Johnston for now. McCulloch is slow to move. We want him on an offensive stance, but here he goes. Well, I guess the speed 5 now makes it feel slower. I had it at 50 times speed. Not much going on in the east, though. Let's keep an eye on the condition of Johnston's army. Alright, they're back to Dyersburg. And his supplies already go to 56% and counting up. Looks like the Western Army will be well supplied in this region of Missouri. Support for the Confederacy in Missouri is 90%. The one thing Johnston has done is exposed Kentucky to invasion if the Union so choose. Let's see if we can... we still have more reinforcements on their way to reinforce Johnston. We're going to recruit a small Texas artillery battalion. And then we'll actually have a little bit of the artillery reserve under Johnston's army. The Union very silent in the east right now. Cal's squadron has headed towards Memphis. McCulloch is actually, we are actually going to try to retake St. Louis. Zollenkoffer will follow to Rolla and protect McCulloch's rear. And McCulloch is at destination. Now Now, is St. Louis in our control? Technically, no. The Union Department of the West, see no serious movement from there. So it looks like there's this progress bar turning red. Okay, St. Louis, Missouri, Union capturing 85%, 96%. Industrialization 2 policy selected more support for Confederate factories, new ironclad designs, mass production of new weapon types. And looks like St. Louis has fallen. And not before only a day before the 4th of July. St. Louis captured by Confederate troops. So there it is, July 3rd, 1861. National morale is now at 100 for the Confederates, 89 for the Union. National support still 96 to our 99. Morale of armies 91 to 93. So the Union Army morale still very high. No real major conflict yet. They are starting to pull away with manpower. The army size is up to 52,000 almost for the Union to our 44,000. Military experience. The Union actually has advantage in military experience, which I find interesting. Well, casualties. We've inflicted 1,800 casualties to our 632. Our weapon industry is actually better than the Union. So 2 odd stats there. Military experience in the favor of the Union. Weapon industry is slightly better than the Union. Still low on food. Johnston's army is still low on food, but the supply ratio has greatly improved, and their readiness you can see is ticking up. Union calls for volunteers. 2-year contracts. Congress sanctions further enlistment. States forming new regiments. So the Union is mustering as much manpower as possible. They are not happy that St. Louis was recaptured. Let's do the Militia Act, which we can institute in 10 days. I take a look at our finances. Oh, we are losing money. Credit ratings down to double A. National debt is at 30,000. So after that Militia Act, we'll probably have to do a financial policy. If we can hold on to St. Louis, though, that should help our economy quite a bit. Such a large city out west. See if we can build another new river ship. Do a couple of these 4th-rate steamers. CSS Georgia and CSS Huntsville. See if we can produce the 4th-rate steamers a little bit faster than we can some of the larger ships that I want to build. This will conclude our episode number 3 in the Grand Tactician Confederate campaign of the spring 1861 start. I hope you enjoyed this latest edition of the campaign. Tell me how you really feel about the campaign so far. You can leave a comment in the comment section. Hit that like button, hit that dislike button. I just would like your feedback. Thank you very much.